subhanahu wa ta'ala, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he was in the well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him, to Yusuf alayhi salam, that one day you will tell them exactly, you will remind them exactly about what happened. And I believe that this is what brought this calmness, tranquility, peace of mind to Yusuf alayhi salam in the well. Because he knew through the revelation that he got from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this revelation was not through Jibreel or one of the, no. It was just an inspiration that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him when he was by himself in the well. Just to keep him calm, to give him peace of mind, that don't worry, one day you will tell them exactly, you will tell your brothers and remind them about what they are doing at this moment. And I believe that this is what gave him the peace of mind. But what we know, so we don't know all the things that I have mentioned, but what we know that they came to their father at night shedding tears, telling him that what you were afraid of happened. Actually, we went racing and we left Yusuf to take care of our belongings. And while we were away from him, the wolf came and attacked him and ate him. This is what they have said. And we know that they have said this to their father. But also we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was in control. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of a divine wisdom, a divine reason, allowed this to happen. And this is the best answer to a question that often people ask. Why and how come Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows things that are harmful to happen to people? Why? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows an earthquake to happen and hundreds, if not thousands of innocent people die? What did they do wrong? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows wars and military conflicts to take place on this earth and thousands of innocent people are killed? Why? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows these natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, volcano, tsunami happening and millions of people die every year? Why is this happening? Why Allah allows this to happen? And the answer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows everything to happen because of a divine wisdom behind it. Most of the time, we have no idea what's the wisdom behind it. Most of the time. Because when we ask this question about Yusuf alayhi salam, how can Allah Azza wa Jal allow this harmful things to happen to an 8-year-old boy? What did he do wrong? He doesn't deserve, astaghfirullah. But this is the logic of the people. He doesn't deserve to go through this situation, painful situation. We say the same thing about Prophet Ayyub. He didn't deserve to go through a long time in his life, going through different types of sicknesses and losing all what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. Why Allah did that, allowed that to happen? Again, everything that happens, there is a divine reason and divine wisdom behind it. So what happened to Yusuf alayhi salam at that age, in order, number one, to make him a prophet and to make him a great person, a great leader in the community where he is going to be sold, and number two, in order for him to remain for eternity until the day of judgment, a source of inspiration and a lesson to every single believer who will come after him, alayhi salatu wassalam. This is what we know. And this is what we should believe in as Muslims, as believers, when we go through the stories of the Prophets, alayhi salatu wassalam, not just to entertain ourselves, but also try to understand why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow these harmful and painful things to happen to the best of the people, the Prophets and the messengers. So this is something very, very important. Now, let's go back to the conversation that took place between Yaqub and his sons. They came to him at the beginning of the night, yabkun, shedding tears, crying, fabricating, making up this story about the wolf. And the wolf is innocent, wallahi. The wolf didn't do anything wrong, But this is how life is. The wolf took the blame for a crime that was committed by human beings. And the wolf didn't do anything wrong. But the wolf was brought in the conversation and he was blamed. So they brought the shirt. And the reaction of Yaqub was amazing. The reaction of the father was amazing. And keep in mind, when we see the reaction of Yaqub, keep in mind that he is a prophet, he is a Rasul. And I can tell you something. When I was reading the verses of the Quran describing the reaction of Yaqub, I have seen that struggle between Yaqub the prophet and Yaqub the father. You see what I'm saying? Yaqub the prophet, that he believes in Allah, and he believes that everything happens, because of a divine wisdom behind it. But at the same time, he was a father. He just lost his son, his most beloved son. How can he reconcile between these two feelings? So they came and they gave their father the shirt full of blood. One of the scholars, I don't know based on what, he said that when Yaqub took the shirt and he started, examining the shirt, he didn't find any damage in the shirt. I mean, you are saying that the wolf attacked him, right? Usually when a wolf or a dog or any animal attacks a person wearing clothes, the damage that will happen to the clothes. But the shirt was intact. No damage happening to the shirt. So it said that Yaqub was looking at the shirt of his son and saying, "Ma ahlama hada al-dhi'b." How nice and good and merciful was this wolf. أكل ابني دون أن يمزق ثوبه. He attacked my son, ate my son, without even leaving any sign of his teeth on the shirt. Which means that from the very beginning, Yaqub alayhi salam knew that his sons were just lying, fabricating the story, making up this story. They came to him crying, shedding tears. Some of our scholars, early scholars, they said, لا يغرنك بكاء المتظلم. Do not get fooled by the cry and the tears of the one who comes to you complaining about something wrong that was done to him. Be careful. Be careful. When somebody comes to you crying that something wrong was done to him or to her, don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. فَرُبَّ ظَالِمٍ هُوَ بَاكٍ. There are so many wrongdoers who know how to cry. There are so many wrongdoers who know how to cry exactly the way the brothers of Yusuf did. They were zalimin, they were the wrongdoers, but they knew how to cry in front of their father. You know? They knew how to cry in front of their father. So we have to be careful. Not everyone who is shedding tears, it means that he or she is saying the truth. Or he or she is doing right. But Yaqub alayhi salam said only one thing. And what he said as a reaction was very powerful. And it should be something that if we can write it down and look at it every single day, we should do this. This is what he responded to them after, making up the story and crying and this drama and all that stuff. قال, he said, بل سولت لكم أنفسكم أمرا. I know that, you have done something. Yourselves, your nafs, your own self pushed you to do something wrong. I knew it. And I know for sure that all what you are saying is a lie. بل سولت لكم أنفسكم أمرا. Now, as far as I'm concerned, as Yaqub, as a prophet and a father, the only thing that I can say is what? فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Sabr, patience. Not only sabr, it's amazing, but a beautiful sabr. A nice sabr. Sabrun jameel is not only the feeling that we have, within ourselves that is described as patience, but it's a beautiful type of patience. Which means that I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to harm you. I'm not going to punish you. I'm not going to retaliate against you. I'm not going to hate you. Sabrun jameel. And then the last thing that he said in his statement, Wallahu al-musta'anu ala ma tasifun. Allah is sufficient, and I leave it between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you have described, tasifun described, whatever you have said to me, the version of the story that you have made up to me, I will leave it between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not going to take action against you. That's why we have not seen in the story that Yaqub did any retaliation against his sons. He did not punish them. He did not expel them. He did not tell them. Just imagine one of us. Imagine this happened to one of us. How are you going to? And you know for sure that your sons are lying, and they did this. They did this to their brother out of hatred. What is going to our reaction? We are going to retaliate. We are going to explode, and go wild and crazy. Yaqub didn't do that. Yaqub didn't do that. Why? Because he knew that what happened by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember the dream that Yusuf shared with his father. So he was not concerned about the safety of his son. He knew that his son was protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because one day the whole family will come together and prostrate. A prostration of honor to him. This is going to happen, which means that Yusuf is safe. But as a father, he was feeling the pain. As a father, he had to be patient for losing his son, and he's going to miss him for a long time. This is the struggle of Yaqub at that moment. This is what he was feeling inside. So, number one, Yaqub was a prophet, and his reaction was a prophetic style reaction. But, as I described it, it was mixed with a parenthood flavor. and I hope you understand. I don't know how to explain this, but Yaqub, his reaction was a prophetic reaction. A reaction of a prophet who knows Allah, who trusts Allah, who rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there was a flavor of a father who was sad for losing and missing his son. This is what I understood from his reaction. Number two, he did not argue with them or punish them. He did not try to tell them, oh, you are lying, or you are this, tell me the truth, show me what happened, or no. Why? Because it's not going to help the situation. He will be pushing them to lie more and more and more. So, enough lying. I know that you have already lied to me. This is enough. Let's just stop here, and I will leave everything between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I know that Allah Azza wa Jal will bring an ease to me one day, sooner or later. Number three, what we learn from the reaction of Yaqub is his reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his beautiful patience. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring the truth forth one day, sooner or later. Yaqub was a great father. Yaqub was a great prophet. And he is giving us a beautiful example and role model of being patient at a very, very tough situation that any parent and any father can experience in his or her life. Yusuf alayhi salam, shortly after that, there was a caravan passing by and they saw the well. They sent somebody to bring them water from the well. The guy threw his bucket in the well, and Yusuf alayhi salam, when he heard the noise, he knew that people are around, and maybe this is the end of that period of time in the well. When he saw the bucket coming down, he grabbed the bucket. The guy thought that he got water, but when he brought the bucket to the ground, he was like, Ya Bushra hada ghulam. He gave the Bushra means glad tidings, good news. Instead of getting water, I got this handsome boy, beautiful looking, nice looking, beautiful, handsome boy. So let's keep him with our merchandise, bida'a. Yusuf alayhi salam became a merchandise, became like any item that people buy. They didn't treat him as a human being. And we're talking about a boy who is going to be a prophet, being treated like any item in the merchandise in the caravan. And they were so happy. And they didn't even think about, oh, a lost item, let's go around to these villages and tell them, did you miss a boy? Here he is. No. They were people who didn't care about this kind of stuff. They were just looking for money. So they took him with them to Egypt. They were going to Egypt. And they sold, the first thing they did when they entered Egypt, going straight to the marketplace and get rid of him, because they didn't want to get into trouble. They didn't want anyone to recognize the boy and tell them that you kidnapped the boy, you are in trouble, I'm going to inform his family. No. The first thing that they did, they went straight to the marketplace and they sold him with the cheapest price. بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran. بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَاتٍ. Which means, maybe at that time a slave, a boy like him worth, let's say 100 dinar or something like this. They sold him like 5 dinar. Just, let us get rid of him before we are in trouble. So this is what happened. A boy who will become a prophet being sold in the marketplace. But the good news is, the person who bought him was a big shot. Aziz Misr. Aziz, at that time, was the title of the chief of the law enforcement, like the chief of police. of Egypt at that time. Okay? He is the one who bought him. And he bought him because he saw in him signs of goodness, of khayr. So he bought him and he couldn't believe himself. I mean, this boy is very cheap. So let me get him before someone else will come. And he took him home. And he handed him to his wife. And he asked her to take care of him. And not to treat him like any other slave. No. He told her, this boy is unique. And I don't want you to treat him like a slave. Treat him like our son. Give him some tasks to do, but just treat him like our son. This is where Yusuf ended up. In a castle, in a beautiful home, with a great family. This is what we're going to say, or what we're going to talk about next week, inshallah. We will continue the story of Yusuf from being in that castle with the family of Al-Aziz. Again, Al-Aziz is not the name of the person. Al-Aziz is what? The title of, like Fir'aun. Fir'aun is not the name of the person. Fir'aun is the title of the king of Egypt at that time. That's why there are pharaohs, fara'ina, because it's a title like a president or emir or something like that. So I'm going to stop here. Inshallah, we'll continue next Monday. And until that time, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless all of us, to help us understanding the significance of the stories of the prophets. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our family members, bless our brothers and sisters everywhere. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.